Hey CrewTrax fans, we are back with another product update and we are ready to release this nifty little button that I teased in our last video. In addition to this nifty little button, we're also going to get another menu item, which is right here, job templates. But I want to cover this in 3 stages. First of all, not everyone will need this feature, so I'm going to show you how to ignore it if you don't want it. Next, I'll show you how I think most people will be using it. And then I'll show you some of the advanced aspects of this feature for people who are importing jobs from a file or from a bidding system. So first, if you have no need to organize your jobs into job types, no problem. All of your jobs by default are going to be regular job type. You can just hit this gear right here and turn off that column, and you don't even have to think about it. And of course, you'll still have the customer column if you want to organize your columns by which customer that job is for. And that's it. If you don't see a need for job types, you can stop watching this video now. But if you often do these same types of jobs, or a few different types of jobs that you want to categorize and have some shortcuts, you don't have to set up the same things over and over again, this might save you some good time, so stick around. Let me show you how most people are going to use this feature. First of all, I'll turn that column back on so we can see it. And you can see I've already categorized a couple of my jobs as personal or home improvement. First of all, we need those job types to exist. So let's go ahead and click on job type list. And I've created a couple here. Let's add a new one. There is a job type code field. If there is some code that's meaningful to you to apply to each job type, then use it. If you don't use that, it will automatically increment by 1. So you can see I have JT1, 2, and 3, so this one's going to be 4. And I want a category for my scaffolding job. So I'll call it scaffolding, save. Now that job type is available to apply to each of my jobs. But this feature is more than just a column that you can use to categorize your jobs. We can now go to our setup and do a job template. This is similar in a way to our job item templates. The job item templates, you can pre-set up a list of items that apply to a lot of your jobs so you don't have to create those items from scratch every single time. We're taking that same functionality up a level, and if there are certain things that remain the same on several jobs over and over again, like maybe the customer it's for or the documents attached to the job, we're going to let you set up a template so that when you start a new job of that type, all of those things come in and then you can just tweak as necessary and save. So let's go ahead and add a new job template, and this is going to be for my scaffolding jobs. Again, job templates can have a code if there's some meaningful code that you want to use. But I'm just going to use the automatically generated one, and I'll call this scaffolding. By the way, I'm always tempted to say jobs at the end of these, but it's kind of redundant. Scaffolding jobs, concrete jobs. But feel free to name it that way if that makes sense to you. I'm just going to call it scaffolding. Now let me pause just for a second to clarify. A minute ago I created a job type. Job types can exist all by themselves if you just want to be able to categorize your jobs into different types. Now I'm creating a job template. On this job template, I can assign a job type, but there's more. This is going to serve as a template for creating future jobs. It's not just a category. So again, the job type is a category. Job template is using that category, but I've got a bunch of other stuff I can add to it just as a shortcut for creating future jobs. So I'll click next. Now what's kind of cool here is if there's a certain customer I do all my scaffolding jobs for, or most of them, I can choose that customer and that will be the default customer when I use this template. Of course, I can always change it later. It might be that your job template applies to the customer. So I could go back and call these Madison jobs, and those will be jobs with the customer of Madison. So however it makes sense in your company, whatever is often the same about a bunch of jobs, set up your default that way and name it accordingly so that you know, okay, when I've got a concrete job or a job for Madison or a residential versus commercial, however it makes sense for you to set up your categories and your templates to save you time. Okay, but for now I actually want to go back and call these my scaffolding jobs. It just so happens that I'm setting up this template because I often work for Madison when I'm doing scaffolding jobs. I think I'm going to leave the description blank because the jobs are different enough that that's not going to be the same every time, and the accounting codes are also going to be different for each job, so I don't want to fill those in by default. Click next again, and this is just the setting we released, I don't know, a year or 2 ago, where if you require notes and photos, you can choose that certain jobs are exempt from that requirement. But as our scaffolding customers know really well, you are definitely not going to accept a scaffolding job from notes and photos. We need lots of good photos of the scaffolding. So I will save that template. And now if I go to the scaffolding job template, I can also add items to that job. I could add them manually just like I can when I'm setting up a job, or I could add them from my item templates, which is what I'm going to do. I'll click there and I'm just going to add all of these. In fact, I got select all right there. And add those. So now when I create a new scaffolding job using this job template, it will by default pull in all of these items. I'll go ahead and save that. And I can also indicate documents, base documents that should exist on my scaffolding jobs. And look at this, I can use our new copy to here feature. I don't just have to re-upload the document. So I'm gonna copy from our organization documents, nope, I lied, from another scaffolding job. Grab this one. I want this scaffold inspection caution tag. So I'll copy that. Yes, I want to allow field access, confirm. Okay, so now when I create a new job using this job template, it will not only have all these items, it will also have this document automatically without having to add all those things individually. Great, so let's give it a try. I'll click on jobs, add a new job. I'm going to use the job template of scaffolding and save. Oops, it won't let me save yet because I do have to name this job. Sorry, CrewTrax, can't read your mind yet, but we're working on it. I'm going to call this City Hall Restoration. Just making something up. And of course, you've got your description, address, all the things you always have when you're creating a job. And again, for this individual job, we can exempt it from the notes and photos requirements. Let's go ahead and save that. And now you can see, because I used that template, it already has all these items. It has all the documents I want. In this case, it was just one. And it just saved me a bunch of time taking all those steps individually. Now, just a couple things to keep in mind. Now that this job exists, I can't go edit the job and choose a different template. The template is only available when you're creating the job. However, now that I've used that template, I can go back and change anything I want about this job. For example, I set up this template with the customer of Madison because most of my scaffolding jobs are done for Madison. But in this case, if we're actually working for Cherry Tree, we'll just change that and save it. I now have all the settings from my scaffolding job template. I just switched the customer because this time we're working for Cherry Tree. And by the way, Cherry Tree had an address associated with it, so it filled that in because I never put an address on this job. Okay, so let's go look at our jobs list again. I just want to show you here in the columns to search, you now have the job type code and job type as options. So if I look for my scaffolding jobs in the job type column, it's going to come up with that one job. I'll click the X here to remove that filter. I'll see all my jobs again. And if you want to go back retroactively and categorize each of your jobs into a job type, go for it. Or if you just want to use this from this point forward, all of your old jobs will be regular, and then from now on, you'll be able to categorize them using the job types. And that'll about do it for the vast majority of our customers, but for those of you who have this special orange button and you're using it, hang out with me a little bit longer, I'll tell you what's changed here. Okay, let's get to the more advanced uses for this feature, and this is specifically for those of you who have this special orange button and are actually using it. And by the way, if you're sticking around even though you don't have that button, if you want to see what this does and you think it's going to be useful to you, just reach out to your account manager and we can help you get started importing jobs from a file. So if I click on import jobs and download the template, you're going to see this template now has a couple more columns than it used to have. Specifically columns A and B, job template code and job type code. Now typically if you're using a file like this to import all of your job items, you're going to have budgets, like your production unit budget and your labor hours budget, equipment hours budget. This is why you're using this file. You want to specify how many hours each item is going to take, how much production is required, etc. So then you might be asking yourself, why would I need a job template if I'm going to fill out all the job stuff over here? Well, there's a couple of reasons. For one thing, the job template will come with all the stuff the job template has, and you can override any of those things here. So maybe you want a different customer than the template has. Maybe even want a different job type than that template usually has. And then of course, all the specific item information. You can use the same item code and item name that exists in the template, and whatever exists here will override that. So effectively what will happen is CrewTrax will import this item, this name, and all of its information. Then it will look to the template, and you'll probably get a message in CrewTrax saying, uh-oh, repeated item. It just kind of gives you a heads up. This item already exists, so I didn't bring it in from the template, and I'll show you that in just a second. But also remember, this template includes documents. So by using a job template in your import, you're going to get all the documents that you have indicated on that template belong to jobs that use that template. So by combining these features of job types and templates and this import, once it's all set up the way you want it, you can get everything done for setting up that job just by importing your jobs file. So let's try this with the scaffolding template you just saw me set up. Now let's go back and check real quick what my job template code is and what my job type code is. Okay, let's go to the job type list. My job type is JT4. I'll go ahead and plug that in. Job type is JT4. And my job template code, I believe it was just my second one. Let's go look here. Job templates, yes it was, JTL2. Plug that in there. And by the way, you can see how it might be useful to use some more meaningful codes than just the defaults. but the defaults will work just fine as well. Okay, just to clarify things, I'm going to delete all of these items down here. So we're just looking at, I've filled out these 2 fields, that's it. We're going left to right, or these 2 cells rather. So what's my customer for these? I don't remember. On this job template, my default customer is Madison, which is customer C1. Now if I want to override that for this particular job, I'll just put in the code of the other customer. So maybe we're going to do this one for Cherry Tree, and that customer code is CH. So I'll throw in CH right there. And now I'll put in the information for this specific job. Alright, I've saved you the time of watching me put in the job code, name, description, and address. I deleted these accounting codes. Now we're getting to the item code and item name, and I'm going to use one of the item codes and names from my job template. So let's go to our job templates, look at scaffolding, and our first one is mob, demob, training, and prep, mobilization, demobilization. So let's go back here. I'm going to put that name right here, and the item code was simply 1. Okay, so this item code already exists in this template. So it's, again, like I said before, you'll see the message. It tries to pull it in from this import file, and then it checks the template, and they'll give me a little message saying, hey, that item code already exists. That's fine, it's just giving you a heads up, and hopefully that was on purpose. Okay, I'm just going to leave the description blank for now. This blank, we don't need unit types or unit budget. Yes, we're tracking labor, sure, we'll say it's going to take 20 hours. I just want to show you how, if we have information in these fields, it's going to populate instead of just using exactly what's on the job template. Alright, let's go ahead and save that to my desktop. Okay, now let's go to jobs and try importing jobs from that file. I'll choose my test import file. Success. Oh, something went wrong. Phase already exists with ID blah blah blah. Yeah, so this is the kind of message you get when you import an item, but that item already exists on a job. But look, there's that item, and there's the labor budget just like we wanted it. So it just gives that little heads up, hey, did you mean to do this twice? Double check, make sure you've got it right. And of course, this job also has the scaffold inspection document that I want these jobs to have. So combining the import jobs with the job type and the job templates can be really useful. Oh, and by the way, the job type is scaffolding. I could have chosen a different job type if I didn't want it just to pull the job type from the template. Now, another way this could be useful is maybe you set up a job template with a few service items that every job has, but they're not as detailed in your bid as your other items. Great, import all of your bid items from the file, and then the service items will show up because they come from the template. So combining these features can be really powerful and can save you a ton of time. Again, if you've made it this far and you're not using this button and you'd like to, just get in touch with us. We can probably help you save time, especially if you're pulling in a bunch of bid numbers into your jobs. If you're typing those in manually into CrewTrax, we can make your life simpler, so let us know. Okay, so whether you don't want to use this feature and want to ignore it, whether you're going to be like most of our customers and use it the way I showed in the middle of the video, or whether you're taking it to the next level and combining our jobs import with job types and job templates, I hope this has been helpful. Of course, if you need any help, we would love to help you, so please reach out anytime and stay tuned for more product updates.